The greatest barrier wasn't technology or funding, Maham Khalid once reflected, her voice calm yet resonant with hard-won experience. It was the ingrained belief, both mine and others, that someone like me, from where I came from, couldn't possibly build something that truly mattered on a global scale. Meet Maham Khalid. Her name might not have been one you knew yesterday, but her story is one you won't forget. She's a visionary, a social entrepreneur, a force of nature whose journey from the quiet constraints of a small village to the forefront of educational technology is a powerful masterclass in resilience, unwavering determination, and the profound impact one individual can have when they dare to challenge the status quo. Maham's journey didn't begin on a paved road to success. It started on a path riddled with obstacles that, to many, would have seemed utterly insurmountable. Born and raised in a conservative, remote village in Punjab, Pakistan, opportunities, especially for girls, were scarce. The expectations were clear and narrow, education was secondary to domestic duties, ambition was often viewed with suspicion, and the ultimate goal was a suitable marriage. The digital divide wasn't just a concept, it was a physical reality. Access to computers was virtually non-existent in her community. Reliable internet connectivity was a luxury few could even imagine, let alone afford. Quality education, particularly in STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, felt like a distant dream, reserved for those in bustling cities, predominantly boys from affluent families. Maham wasn't just fighting against a lack of resources, she was pushing against deeply ingrained cultural norms and systemic biases. Whispers followed her genuine curiosity. Why does a girl need to know about computers? Her focus should be on the home. This ambition is unseemly. These weren't just external voices, they echoed internally, sowing seeds of self-doubt. Could she truly break free? Did she even have the right to want more? Added to this was the very real economic pressure. Her family, while loving, struggled to make ends meet. Pursuing higher education, let alone a risky entrepreneurial venture, seemed like a frivolous fantasy when basic needs were a daily concern. The weight of expectation, the scarcity of resources, the limiting beliefs of her environment, it was a formidable wall standing between Maham and the future she dared to envision. It felt less like a starting line and more like a dead end. But within Maham Khalid, a fire burned. It wasn't a destructive flame, but a persistent, steady glow of curiosity and a deep-seated sense of injustice. It began subtly. As a child, she noticed the disparity, the boys who were encouraged to tinker and explore, while girls were steered towards domesticity. She devoured any books she could get her hands on, finding escape and inspiration in stories of women who defied expectations. Her first encounter with a computer, brought by a visiting health worker, was nothing short of an epiphany. It wasn't just a machine, it was a portal. A window to a world of information, connection, and possibility she hadn't known existed. That single experience planted a seed. She needed to learn more. The initial steps were fraught with difficulty. She convinced her slightly more progressive uncle to let her use his outdated, painfully slow desktop computer for an hour or two late at night, after her chores were done and the rest of the household slept. She found grainy, poorly translated tutorials online during precious moments of weak internet connectivity, painstakingly teaching herself the basics of coding. Every line of code felt like a small act of rebellion, a quiet assertion of her right to learn and grow. A pivotal figure emerged in the form of Ms. Arifa, a forward-thinking teacher at the local girls' school. Ms. Arifa saw Maham's spark, her quiet determination, and became a crucial ally. She provided encouragement, lent Maham books she sourced from city contacts, and helped her navigate the delicate balance between her aspirations and family expectations. "Knowledge is your passport, Maham," she'd say, "guard it well, and use it wisely." Maham wasn't content just learning for herself. She saw the same spark of curiosity, often suppressed, in other girls in her village. She started small, incredibly small. Gathering a handful of trusted friends in secret, sharing the little knowledge she had gleaned, huddling around that single borrowed computer screen. They called it their Discovery Club. It was less about formal lessons and more about shared exploration, mutual encouragement, and dreaming together. The first hurdle was convincing parents. Maham, guided by Ms. Arifa, approached them cautiously. She didn't talk about careers or defying tradition initially. She spoke about practical skills, how basic computer literacy could help with accessing health information, managing household budgets, or even helping younger siblings with homework. She framed it as empowerment within their existing context. It was slow, painstaking work, winning trust one family at a time. A small breakthrough came when Maham helped a local shopkeeper set up a simple digital inventory system using a basic spreadsheet program she'd learned. It saved him hours of manual work. He spoke positively about her skills, lending a crucial voice of male validation within the community. This small success emboldened her. She started searching for external support. Countless emails and letters sent out into the void, seeking used laptops, funding, or mentorship, mostly met with silence or polite rejections. Doubt crept in constantly. Was she aiming too high? Was this dream truly impossible? Then came the Regional Youth Innovation Challenge. Ms. Arifa encouraged her to apply. Maham hesitated. The thought of presenting her fledgling idea to strangers, judges from the city, was terrifying. She felt inadequate, an imposter. But the faces of the girls in her Discovery Club, their hesitant hope mirroring her own, pushed her forward. She poured her heart into the application, detailing not just the technical aspects but the human story, the suppressed potential, the hunger for knowledge, the vision of empowering girls to become creators, not just consumers, of technology. She practiced her pitch relentlessly, her voice shaking initially, but growing steadier with each repetition. Against all odds, her project, Roshni Ki Kernan, Rays of Light, won a small seed grant. It wasn't a fortune, but it was validation. It was proof that her idea had merit beyond the confines of her village. More importantly, it came with a few refurbished laptops. This initial success was a catalyst. It allowed her to formalize the Discovery Club, find a small room to rent in the community center, after much negotiation, and slowly expand. She developed a simple curriculum focusing on digital literacy, basic coding, and online safety. She recruited other young women she had mentored as junior trainers. The journey wasn't linear. There were setbacks. Equipment failed. Funding gaps loomed large. Conservative elements in the community occasionally renewed their criticism. There was a particularly difficult period when a local cleric publicly denounced her work as Western influence corrupting their daughters. Maham faced this challenge head-on. Instead of retreating, she organized an open house, inviting elders and parents to see what the girls were actually learning. She had the girls demonstrate how they use technology to research local history, access agricultural information relevant to their families, and even create simple websites showcasing local crafts. Seeing the practical applications, the genuine enthusiasm, and Maham's respectful but firm defense of her mission began to slowly shift perceptions. It wasn't about rejecting their culture, it was about adding new tools for a better future. Years passed. Roshni Ki Kernan grew organically, driven by Maham's relentless energy and the tangible results. Girls who had once barely touched a keyboard were now winning coding competitions, developing apps to solve local problems, like tracking water well levels, and securing scholarships for higher education in technical fields. Maham herself was evolving, from a shy, self-taught coder into a confident leader, a mentor, and a strategic thinker. She learned about organizational management, fundraising, partnership building, often through trial and error. She built a small, dedicated team who believed deeply in the mission. They reached neighboring villages, carefully adapting their approach to each community's specific context. The impact was undeniable, rippling outwards. Roshni Ki Kernan had achieved remarkable success at the grassroots level, transforming hundreds of lives. But Maham knew that to create systemic change, to reach tens of thousands, she needed to scale significantly. This required resources far beyond small grants and local donations. It led her to the Global Impact Fund, a major venture philanthropy organization known for backing ambitious social enterprises. Securing their investment would be transformative, allowing expansion across the province and potentially nationally. It was also the most intimidating challenge she had ever faced. The final pitch took place in a sleek, imposing boardroom in Islamabad, a world away from her village origins. Polished executives, seasoned investors with sharp eyes and sharper questions, sat across the table. The air hummed with quiet intensity. Maham, dressed simply but professionally, felt a tremor of her old self-doubt surface. The whispers returned, "Are you sure you belong here? Can you really convince these people?" She took a deep breath, grounding herself in her purpose. She thought of the first girls in the Discovery Club, of Ms. Arifa's unwavering belief, of the shopkeeper whose digital inventory was a small ripple that became a wave. Her presentation began not with complex financial projections, but with a story, the story of Amina, one of her first students, who used her coding skills to build a simple app connecting local artisans directly with buyers, bypassing exploitative middlemen. She spoke of the tangible economic impact, the newfound confidence, the shift in community perception. She then laid out the data, the impressive growth metrics, the low dropout rates, the high placement percentages of their graduates in further education or tech-related jobs. She presented her meticulously planned expansion strategy, addressing scalability, sustainability, and potential challenges with transparency and foresight. The questions came fast and sharp. About financial models. About measuring long-term impact. About navigating political hurdles. About competitors. One particularly skeptical investor, Mr. Hassan, leaned forward, his expression unreadable. "Miss Khalid," he said, his tone bordering on dismissive, "this is all very heartwarming. But we invest in scalable, replicable models. How can you guarantee that what worked in a few villages can translate to diverse regions across Pakistan, each with its own unique cultural sensitivities and infrastructural challenges? Isn't this passion project simply too localized?" This was the moment. The air grew heavy. Maham met his gaze directly. Her voice, when she spoke, was clear and firm, devoid of defensiveness, filled instead with quiet conviction. "Mr. Hassan, thank you for that question. You're right to ask about scalability and replicability. But Roshni Ki Kernan isn't just a passion project, it's a proven methodology built on deep community integration and adaptability, not rigid imposition. Our localization, as you call it, isn't a weakness, it's our core strength." She elaborated, "We don't just parachute in with laptops and a fixed curriculum. We spend months understanding each new community, building trust with elders, parents, and local leaders. We identify and train local women as facilitators, ensuring cultural relevance and long-term ownership. Our curriculum is modular, designed to be adapted to local needs, whether it's agriculture tech in farming communities or e-commerce skills in artisan villages. The technology is the tool, but the trust, the community buy-in, the empowerment of local women, that is the replicable model. It's slower, perhaps, than a purely top-down approach, but it's sustainable. It creates ripples that last." She paused, looking around the table. "You asked if I can guarantee success across diverse regions. No, I cannot guarantee anything with absolute certainty. But I can guarantee our commitment, our methodology rooted in respect and collaboration, and the evidence of the transformations we've already facilitated. We are not just teaching code, we are unlocking potential that already exists. We are proving that girls from any background, given the right tools and belief, can shape their own futures and uplift their communities. Investing in us isn't just investing in an organization, it's investing in a paradigm shift." Silence hung in the room for a beat. Then, the lead investor smiled faintly. Mr. Hassan leaned back, a flicker of respect in his eyes. Maham had not just presented a plan, she had embodied the very resilience and strategic thinking her organization fostered. She hadn't just answered the question, she had redefined the terms. The tension broke. The subsequent discussion shifted from skepticism to collaborative problem-solving. They saw not just a dreamer from a village, but a visionary leader with a robust, impactful model. That day, Maham Khalid secured the funding that would propel Roshni Ki Kernan onto a national stage, marking the transition from a grassroots initiative to a major force for change. Maham Khalid's journey is a powerful reminder that insurmountable challenges can be overcome with unwavering belief, relentless perseverance, and a commitment to empowering others. From a single borrowed computer to transforming tens of thousands of lives, her story proves that potential is universal, even if opportunity is not, and that true leadership often blossoms in the most unexpected places. What part of Maham Khalid's incredible story resonated most with you? Share your thoughts and inspirations in the comments below. If you found this story motivating, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next inspiring success story. Up next, check out the amazing journey of Suggest another inspiring figure/story relevant to the channel. Thank you for watching.